Um, Good morning, everyone. On the first note, I would like to thank the organization commission of this Congress to invite us, students of this institution, to present our works and represent the Faculty of Fine Arts of Lisbon. I would like also to thank my co-authors and mentors, Marta, Frade, and Luís Soares, for their support in the resolution of this paper. So this paper was based on the thesis project for my master's in conservation and restoration of plaster sculpture, and it was offered for a collaboration with Pena's National Palace to clean the plaster bust of King Dom Fernando II, also known as Ferdinand Saxo Porcota, the king artist who gave Portugal the Jewel of Sintra, Palácio da Pena. Dom Fernando was also one of the most influential personas from the Romantic era in Portugal that invested in the Portuguese culture and artistic heritage. This sculpture, like mentioned before, belongs to Pena's National Palace and is from the 19th century, specifically from 1866, created by the French artist Auguste Arnaud in Lisbon. This plaster bust represents the king in his formal attire with the detailed sculpted face and the famous Napoleon III style mustache. It rests on a round ornated base with the inscriptions of the date and location of the work, as well as the title Dom Fernando II. An interesting fact about this sculpture is that it's one of the 9 existing plaster casts in Portugal. However, there's one in Vila Viçosa in Alentejo in bronze, done in 1987 for the commemoration of the king's death. The ones we can see in this slide are from Pena's Palace in the upper right corner with the patina appearing bronze. This is in fact a plaster, not a bronze. We have also the Batalhas Monastery on the right side below. The Science Academy of Lisbon in the upper left, and Carmen's Museum on the left side down, also based in Lisbon. We believe these belong to the institutions that have some type of affiliation with the king. And we also have records about Ferdinand II giving the one from Carmen's Museum as a gift, when he and the Queen Maria II became the protectors of the museum. There's also information that we had one of these plasters in our collection here at Faculty of Fine Arts of the University of Lisbon. As you already may know, this paper is all about the intervention of the sculpture. So we had to make a condition report about all the problems we would face when cleaning this piece. On the first note, we can understand there's a layer of shellac. For those who don't know, shellac was used as a demolding agent in the casting process. And it's all over the sculpture and some accumulations in the depressions. We normally don't see the shellac as a problem. In fact, we consider it as a document that represents the statue history. So in normal circumstances, we don't take it out. However, in this case, we need to remove it partially. Then we can see a little fragmented region in the front of the sculpture, to which we have the parts that correspond there. And some dirt in the surface, mostly dust, in the corners and depressions of the. However, our bigger issue that we can notice in this plaster are these dark spots all around that interfere with the overall comprehension and aesthetic of the sculpture. It's hard for us, as the audience, to appreciate the art piece in its entirety when there's something obstructing our view. This problem is the main reason for the existence of this paper. Now, we understand that these black spots are in fact some fungus that appeared due to the combination of the shellac covering the surface of the plaster with the humidity levels in the room where it was standing. There's reports about the corridor having dripping ceilings where the bust was standing. And this is normal in Sintra, since the environment overall is very humid. By default, The shellac is not a problem for the plaster. However, because of these circumstances, the plaster reacted and produced this biological infestation due to the lack of gas exchanges that normally happens in this material. So for further investigation about the fungi, we subjected it to ultraviolet radiation light to understand if it was still active. However, as we can see in the image, these fungi are not active since they don't react when exposed to the UV. We took 2 photos using the microscope dinolite, the first in the front area of the bust and the second where we had some accumulation of shellac and dirt. We believe this happened because the sculpture had been moved to a controlled environment with no humidity before it arrived to our university. Unfortunately, due to the lack of resources, we couldn't do more analysis on this pathology. So these cleaning tests were done by a professor and conservator back in 2018, and acetone was used as the main cleaning solution that shows some good results in the removal of the shellac, although always leaving behind some trace of it, since it's not our purpose to eliminate the shellac in its totality. However, to attack the spots, we need to remove the first layers without using pressure in the process, as we don't want to create any type of abrasion in the plaster. We've realized that these fungi were so deep into the material that simple chemical methods wouldn't be enough for the removal of these. So we needed to find a way to clean this sculpture, avoiding damaging the plaster and without resorting to intrusive and abrasive techniques, or advanced and more aggressive chemical solutions, since the plaster as a material is fragile. So it was suggested to us the opportunity to work with Dra. Adélia Gomes from the company Státua, Ateliê de Escultura, Conservação e Restauro, and the usage of the laser cleaning technique. So the laser cleaning method is already used in conservation and restoration, mostly in the intervention of stone and metals. The laser is a well-collimated and directional light beam that creates heat and removes the dirt. This is a safe and self-limiting technique in the sense that it only affects the area that we want to, without interfering with the substrate below the pathology we want to remove, as this machine only works when the light radiance is absorbed. And because there's no physical contact, we can use it in objects that have some type of material or formal sensitivity. The fact that the laser is a small light beam makes it more controlled and can be used with much more precision. This helps when we need to use it in smaller objects or limited areas. Beyond this, we can say it's a sustainable cleaning methodology where we don't need to use any kind of chemical solutions or pollutants. Even though there's so many good things about the laser, it should only be handled by professional specialists that can handle the machine. In our case, Dra. Adélia Gomes will be using the ND-YAG laser with all the procedures for a safe usage of the machine on our bust of Fernando. Now I'm going to show you a little video of Dra. Adélia using the laser. It will have a little noise that it's kind of annoying, but it's just to show how it works and the sound it makes. Okay. Now, here I can show you some progress in the cleaning of the statue. I've removed some of the superficial dirt, mostly dust, with the mechanical cleaning or dry cleaning. Then I used, again, acetone as the chemical cleaning, as this is one of the safest solvents to use on a porous surface because it evaporates rapidly and the plaster doesn't absorb it as much to remove partially the shellac. Always reminding myself that I don't want to make the plaster white. That's not our goal here. We just need to make it less yellowish to use the laser in a more effective way. So here are the results. So this project is a still ongoing progress where I'll be experimenting the laser cleaning method in the removal of the spots, and hopefully it will be in exhibition after in Pena's National Palace. The laser technique should be more object of study in the field of conservation of plasters. We have so much information and documents about the technique and amazingly talented scholars in this field, but we need more conservators to study it in the intervention of plasters in Portugal, as this may be the solution for some problems that we face. Like most of us, we had so many difficulties this past year, and to finally be able to take a further step on this was so encouraging to take part on this Congress, even though this project isn't finished. Thank you so much.